Hey everybody, this is Aya of the Dawn, aka Wild Entangled Fairy. It's been a minute. I know I made a video last week, but I usually make like 2 a week. So, like in the YouTube streets, it feels like forever if you're not like uploading all the time. This is my website where you guys can sign up for your tarot readings, astrology readings, reflexology, Reiki, look at my events, and also check out my subscriptions. A lot of you guys end up really benefiting from weekly kind of sort of life coaching mixed with long distance Reiki and anything that you guys need for your spiritual health and development. And this is for all you gods and goddesses, avatars, spiritual warriors in training who might be going through like your dark night of the soul and need like someone to guide you through the process. Let's get into this week's transits, shall we? All right, so I'm going to use my chart. This week, the chart that's going to be used is actually going to be a relationship chart. And this week is really light when it comes to transits. The only thing I can really see, and which is what we talked about last week, is Venus moving into Aquarius. And moving from Capricorn to Aquarius is going to change your mindset about your finances and about your relationships from being like really heavy on responsibility and discipline to being very independent and kind of like all about me, non-emotional movements, but also allow you to be very social. This is a great time to be social as we move into springtime. It's a great time to really focus on yourself and what you like and your health and your mindset. You might be going through a change of perspective when it comes to your finances and thinking about your future this year coming up. So if you're feeling like you've been focusing too much of your energy on other people, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of these energies so that you can use them to focus on you. What better way to move in the springtime? It's like spring cleaning on your point of view. Okay? I'm getting together what day it is, actually. Okay. All right, so this week, on Wednesday, I'm actually looking for someone I know to fulfill all my customers that want readings. Okay. This on Wednesday, I'm sorry guys. I keep getting these messages. Thank you. All right, on Wednesday, the sun will make a sextile with Mars, which means that you'll be feeling very energetic. And I know that's good for those of us who live in Georgia because we need the sun so bad, and we're finally getting some energy from the sun. And so if you look at where the sun is in Pisces and Mars is in Taurus. And let me look at my ephemeris to see what degrees it's going to be in. And Wednesday is the 27th. Okay. Pisces, Mars, 8 degrees. The sun, 8 degrees. In Aquarius. I'm sorry, in Pisces. Okay. So your drive to go about your purpose, and this is something that I've been feeling, like there's a perspective shift on what your purpose actually is and getting down to the nitty gritty and narrowing your purpose down to actually represent more of who you are and who you're becoming. And your healing work is going to be energized by the Pisces energy while you use this Taurus energy to kind of like slow down the pace, because Taurus doesn't like to be rushed, you know? And Pisces energy feels like very present. It's like I'm already who I'm supposed to be. I don't need any help. I don't really need you to tell me who I am. Pisces is very centered in who it is already. But Mars demands movement and motion towards your goals. There is a goal here. Since we're moving at such a low frequency, being in physical bodies, sometimes our souls are further along than we actually are in our physical. And we can feel this pain inside where we feel like kind of stuck and like we need some type of, this is why you guys, we go get our healings and we go get our readings and we dance and we sing and we cry and we write and we try to move that energy along. It's very painful to not be where you want to be and be the person who you see yourself as, like automatically, But the sun calls for us to enjoy the process. The sun is all about joy. The sun is about fun and creativity. So if you can find a way to be creative in your spiritual healing as you go towards your highest self and your goals and your dreams, all the better for you. March 1st, Venus is going to be squaring Uranus. Venus is going to be in the last degree of 29 degrees of Capricorn, the 1st of March. I think that's going to be Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And Uranus is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. It's still treading its last little hanging on by a loose tooth in Aries as it moves into Taurus. It's just like right on the cusp. Let me look. Uranus, yep, 29 degrees. And that's going to also cause a change of perspective when it comes to love and finances. And you might feel a conflict between what you desire and your need for security versus your need for change and autonomy. So it's kind of like this feeling like this is what I'm going through and have been going through and what I experience all the time in my life. I want to be free. I want to be married, but free. Everybody does. We all want to be married and we want to be free. We want security and we want to do what we want to do. How can you mesh the two? These are the type of questions you can ask yourself, because I can't answer that for you. This is a note to journal, Ask yourself, how can I experience freedom, but also experience security? And the answer has most of the time been, I need to work more. Now, does that make any of us feel free? No. I personally have been experiencing a severe case of burnout, and it's sad. It's like the little engine that could put, 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 and then you just run out of steam slowly and you're watching yourself like die down and all you can do is rest. And it's because I have so much fire and passion for what I do. Like I always feel like I want to do more. I always wish I can do more. And I tend to add more on my plate. But you know what? I can only do so much. So the universe has been like getting very creative with me by sending me emails from potential assistants and stuff like that. But then I'm like, don't feel secure about letting people into my personal vibes and what have yous, I'm still kind of etching that out to see where that would fit into my autonomy as an individual. Yeah, so I don't get off track. And okay, this is another aspect. Love is in the air, guys. A lot of people that I talk to are finding their soulmates again and finding love in their life and going through and and seeing that the person that they thought they were going to be with is, or the person that the type of person that they thought they were going to be with is not the person that they're ending up with. That's very Venus and Uranus energy together. It's like suddenly falling in love. So you might fall in love at first sight. You might have a whirlwind romance that picks up speed really fast. And that's very Uranus and Venus energy. Look out for that if you haven't experienced that. Like I told you guys before, I experience things as a shadow of the energy before it actually happens. And I was looking at some of you guys' comments to see that you guys experience that too, because that's something I'm experiencing. I'm like falling in love. It happened all of a sudden. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't expecting it. It's a very R&B song. It's very Joe. It's very like Monica and Brandy. Just press play. It's crazy. It's insane. But you know, 'tis this season and we just keep rolling with it. I'm getting through these transits, guys, and then we're going to get to the chart reading for those of you guys who like to kind of practice reading other people's charts. That's what I do it for. And also to give you guys free readings sometimes. It's part of my Mayan chart. My Mayan chart told me that I need to give away something for free every 13 days. So that's why I would do that anyway, but when I read that, it was confirmation for me that it's good for me to do things out of charity. All right. Later, we already talked about Venus and Aquarius. Yeah, I'm seeing changes in point of view, changes in perspective, changes in finances, changes in love this week coming up. All right, that's the end of your transit reading. We're going to move on into different type of territory. Now, this chart we're about to read is a love chart. This person wanted me to give them a tarot reading, but I don't do tarot readings for free anymore because they wear me out faster than anything else. Like, remember when I used to do those 1-minute readings on my Instagram page, guys? For those of you who don't know, yeah, that's what I used to do that, and it would drain the hell out of me. So that's why I do this instead. Astrology readings don't drain my energy half as much as doing tarot readings do. The first thing I noticed, what's the first thing you guys notice when you look at this chart? I'll give you guys a second as I flip to my journal page where I was making notes. Reading astrology charts is just as intuitive as reading tarot cards. I tend to I don't force anything, you know. Most of the time, a consultation with me is 1 hour or more. I'm not really militant about the time it takes for us to chat together about your chart and answer your questions. So I know I'm not going to get to like everything in 1 hour about your whole entire life. So I tend to let my intuition guide me as to what sticks out the most. So this is where my eye went. Boom. That's an indication of love right there. Venus and Mars. Now, the circle in the middle is her energy. The circle on the outside is his energy. Okay. And they share a conjunction of Venus and Mars and Cancer. But one of their her midheaven is involved, and his fifth house is involved. Like, he's all up in his feelings and in love, you know. But this is might be something that is a good business transaction for her. And I don't mean to like play him like that, but this is good. This gives her like vibes in her house of business. So it could be an indication of love and it could not be. This could be him like giving her great ideas and for design and for branding, and he just sees things for her that maybe she wouldn't see, and she's really good at implementing it and putting it into motion, because Mars is about taking action. She's a warrior when it comes to her career. If you want to sit back, honey, you can. she's a warrior when it comes to her career, and he's like more of the artist when it comes to that energy that they have together. So they could make a really good team in that way, either whether they're in a relationship or not. All right, so the next thing, I always look at the aspects of love when I'm reading a relationship chart. And so I looked at her relationship house, which is also connected to, and the seventh house is ruled by Venus, guys, for those of you who don't know. And the second house, which is here, which is conjunct both of their Aries. I'm sorry, my mind's running away. The second house and the seventh house are both ruled by Venus. But what I have found problematic is that it's in the sign of Aries, which means they're both kind of focused on themselves when it comes to relationships and love. So both of them can be like, me first, me first. Let's say you love me first. Do stuff for me first, and then I'll do stuff for you. Be affectionate with me first, and then I'll be affectionate with you. You know, they're both kind of like our divas in the relationship. And so she's the one that reached out to me for this reading. And so she probably feels like I want to be the woman in the relationship, not you. You're not the woman in this relationship. And they both might have a hard time compromising and taking turns being the pursuer and the pursuee. If you guys want to have a more balanced relationship, I suggest that you guys kind of cool it and humble out and see that your partner's needs are just as important as yours. And maybe laugh about it a little bit, because Aries can be like really rageful about not getting its way up front. Aries is the baby of the zodiac, and they can be pretty immature about how they handle their feelings. So if you guys are both kind of doing that, then yeah, there's going to be lots of fireworks and maybe lots of attraction, but there needs to be more resolution involved. All right, the next indication I saw, and this is going to be the last thing I read, guys, and then I'm going to end this session. Venus and Uranus together. Now, this is interesting. Okay, right here. We were just talking about this in the transits, how if you have Uranus and Venus together, there could be sudden attraction, falling in love at first sight. And I see this here in their chart as well. Like they have this attraction to each other that's weird and unexplainable and unconventional. And I also took a peep their moon and Neptune together. So when they get together, they might meditate and like have psychic visions together, and they just feel like this spiritual kinship that is unexplainable to them. And it's definitely connected to past lives, and I feel like he feels it more strongly than her. But being that her moon and Venus is in the fifth house, she's a bit witchy too. Like she's very much an oracle in her own right, but he's probably even more sage than she is. And so she might feel like, you know, can you just be a little bit more normal? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because it's in the 12th house. It's in his blind spot. He doesn't know that he's being weird. That might be an issue for her, because her energy is in the fifth house, and fifth house energy is very much about outward expression and having friends and like partying. And maybe she feels like, I can't take him anywhere. He's too weird. But the gag is, she is too. And that's why they're attracted to each other. She may not understand this, but she has fifth house in Aquarius. So the way she likes to have fun is pretty damn weird. That's interesting. You know, that's an interesting thing to maybe consider, and having compassion for one another in this relationship. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this reading out here. Again, I said, you know, we're not going to be able to get through every single last thing. I hope that answered some of your questions, sweetie. I'll definitely be sending this video out to you guys soon. I love you very much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I'll talk to you guys and talk to you about the astrology transits for next week. Peace.